let's get to our next guest as we kick off hour number 2, as you mentioned. If you're watching us at QSportsTalk.com, you see our next guest live and in person. We are pleased to be joined in studio by Christian Mulé, fifth-year attacker for the SU men's lacrosse team. Christian, great to meet you. Great to see you here. How are things going?
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. Things have been going great so far. Took a little bit to get used to it, but now we're off and rolling and just finished up the fall.
All right, so I did want to ask you about how you ended up here. You know, you had a great career at Lehigh. What was it about Syracuse that drew you here?
Yeah, I think first to start off, I loved my experience at Lehigh. Loved my 4 years there. Had a great relationship with Coach Cassis, who now left and went to Virginia. And I think for me, it was about a new experience and trying something new. And obviously, Syracuse's history and known for winning championships. And I think that was something that drew me and just playing higher level lacrosse.
You're a New York kid. Did you have the aspirations of playing here at all? And, tell me about your game and what we can expect. You did it kind of all for Lehigh. You could fill the net and you could also dish it out. What can we expect this season?
Yeah, my dad coached in the MLL, so I was always around lacrosse when I was younger. He coached for the Long Island Lizards, and just always grew up watching college lacrosse, and obviously Syracuse was always at the top, and just to be here is super cool. I think a little bit about my game. To start off my career, I was more of a goal scorer, and that was the role I played at Lehigh. And then over the years, I kind of transitioned into more of an assist guy last year, which was pretty cool. And I think Coach March recruited me here and kind of said that I can play both roles. And for me, it's whatever I can do to kind of help out the team.
You talked about real quick your dad, coaching in the MLL. Any stories that he has of Gary Gate, and now you get to play with, as your head coach?
Yeah. Me and Coach Gate were actually talking about it the other week, but Coach Gate played in the championship against my dad. My dad was coaching, and at the time, Coach Gate was a player coach, so he played and coached. And they ended up beating my dad in the championship. So me and Coach Gate were laughing about that for a little bit.
So I know things are a little bit different now with the transfer portal, that everybody's got new pieces. But to spend your career somewhere and then to come into a new spot where, there are returning players, how has that been for you, kind of fitting in with the guys? I don't want to say you're an outsider because, again, there's a lot of transfers, but coming in and kind of integrating yourself with the guys who have already been here.
Yeah, of course. I think another big component of it was really close with Joey Spallina. My dad and his uncle run a Team 91 program on Long Island, and his dad actually coached with my dad for the Lizards as well. So we grew up together a little bit and played a lot, and I think that was another big component of it. And then coming in, I got asked a bunch about just like the Canadians that are here, and you have the two transfers and Stevens and English, and you have Finn Thompson and Owen Hiltz on the offense, and they just play a little bit of a different style of lacrosse, and it's really cool because they're super creative with it, and you have Joey who's really creative, and it's kind of just trying to mesh in with them and learn their tendencies, and just continuing to work at that.
You talked about playing, with Joey, playing with Finn, playing with Owen Hiltz. This team's accustomed to getting to championship weekend, and we haven't been there in a while. And what's it going to take? What can we expect out of this year's team to get us there?
Yeah, I think to first start, we have a lot of fifth-year transfers, and I think it's going to bring a lot of leadership. You have Mason Kahn, who was a face-off guy. He played in the national championship. Stevens and English at Princeton played in the Final Four. At Lehigh, made it to the NCAA tournament. Just across the board, you have some guys with experience as older guys. And then you have the younger guys who are really talented in that freshman class who's now sophomores and have some experience there. So I think we're super excited about that.
So fall ball just wrapped up. Can you fill us in at all on how it went? And maybe, after you had a chance to play some scrimmages, what are the strengths of this team? Maybe what are some things you need to work on going into the new season as a group?
Yeah, so we actually split up our team. We have about 60 guys, I think. So we have a pretty big team. So we split up into two even teams. One played Providence, one played UMass, and we did really well. So that was, I think, a strength. We're going to have a lot of depth this year. We have a ton of guys on offense, which is great, and our defense is really improving. I think they love the new coach. Coach Arderna has been awesome, and Coach March is obviously one of the best coaches too. So I think that we have a lot of depth, which is really good for us.
You've seen it firsthand, and Joey and Finn went and played box lacrosse this summer. How have you seen their games grow? I understand you were looking from the outside before, and now you have that up close look. How have you seen their games take that next step?
Yeah, I think, like I talked about before, they're just really creative, and just how they play. It's just super creative, and I think that comes from that tight inside box style of play that a lot of the Canadians are really used to. And like I said, for me, it's also learning from them a little bit. They're really slick in playing the two-man games, and great stick skills inside, and just the creativity that I'm trying to learn from as well.
Being a fifth-year guy, do you find yourself maybe trying to take it in a little bit more, knowing that this is kind of a last ride, a last ride for you? I mean, do you it's your last fall ball as you get ready to start the new season? Do you kind of stop and smell the roses a little bit as you're going?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I was actually in the car with Mason Kahn, who's a transfer faceoff guy. And I was telling him, I was like, I'm so excited for the season right now. Like, I wish we were playing tomorrow. I was like, but I also wish we could go back to the start of fall ball too, because I'm not ready for this to be over.
Right.
Like, this is my 5th year last year playing lacrosse. And like I said, growing up around the game since I was younger, it's just crazy how coming into the last couple of months of it, and I'm just trying to take in every second of it.
Walk me through that household growing up in your household. Your dad's an MLL coach, Was it always lacrosse 24/7 for you? What was that like?
Yeah, it was always lacrosse 24/7. So I had a brother who played at Duke. He was 2 years older than me, and it was just countless hours in the backyard, beating each other up a little bit, playing against each other until dark, and we're getting called in. And I think those types of moments are what kind of build you and bring you to where you are today. And I think just my dad brought that competitive spirit on me, just being around him so much when I was younger.
And, talking about the fact that you're a fifth-year guy, and you mentioned that there are a lot of fifth-year guys on this team and transfers and a lot of veterans, I would imagine that helps you because not only do you have a lot of lacrosse experience, but it seems like you guys are really hungry, too, to make this last year count. Can you speak to that a little bit? I guess the motivation going into this last year, that it's not necessarily a young team. This is you guys have been around the block. You've seen a lot. You've played a lot of college lacrosse, and you're eager to go out as a winner, I would assume.
Yeah, I think it's part of the reason why we all came here, right? Like, everyone goes through that process of the transfer portal trying to pick a new home for the next year. And a lot that went into it for me was, where can I be successful and where can I compete in a Final Four, and where do I have the best shot to win a championship and also play a role where I can help out. And I think for all the transfers here that aided into the decision, and that's why we're here. I don't think that we want to just like mess around and have fun. The vibe from everyone is that we want to win.
Gary Gay gives you that phone call, or maybe it was Coach March. What was that like to say, hey, come here and play at Syracuse?
Yeah, it was weird because back then when I was getting recruited in high school, the rules weren't in place. So I got recruited as a freshman in high school. And you think back to all those calls, and then now you're a 5th-year grad student and you're more mature and you're having these conversations again with coaches, which was pretty cool. It kind of went back full circle a little bit.
Yeah, that is very cool. Christian, we're just about out of time, but anything else from you that you want to get across to our listeners? I'm sure that's music to their ears that you guys are, looking at Final Four weekend and trying to win a championship, and that, that is the goal of every team, but it seems like you guys might have the pieces in place to make a deep run this year.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just that I'm going to do whatever I can to help this team win. That's obviously really important to me. And I'm just super excited, and I think we all are. So hopefully we could give the fans a good run and all of our supporters and make it to a Final Four.
Yeah, we wish you the best of luck. I know I'm itching for February to start. I know you got a couple of, the Cornell series is being renewed, so that's exciting for us, and a couple of big-name opponents coming down the line.
Yeah, we've heard the schedule is loaded this year.
We think.
Right.
Wink, wink.
From what we've heard, it seems like the schedule is loaded, and I would imagine again in your final year you want to compete against the best as well, and it sounds like you're going to have an opportunity to do just that.
Yes, 100%. Yep.
All right, Christian, a pleasure meeting you. Really, best of luck as you go through the winter and College lacrosse season will be here before we know it. Christian Mulé, everybody, joining us here on the show. And with that, we'll hit a timeout. Phone lines back open, 315-437-7644. We've got today's business coming up next on ESPN Radio.